Climb into bed. Get comfortable. And prepare for the clutches of sleep paralysis to ensnare your waking moments. Descend into a realm of consciousness where nightmares come alive. Welcome to the Paralysis Tales. It was Christmas Day, and young Mary was enjoying Christmas dinner with her family. She loved the holidays, as it was a time for her to see her aunts, uncles, and cousins. Mary loved spending time with her family, not to mention the presents. Everything was going perfectly this year. Mary noticed that Mom always locked the door at night. What was weird is that she only did this during the holidays, never during the rest of the year. They lived in a very safe neighborhood in a small town in Pennsylvania, where nothing bad ever happened. Especially during the holidays. Mary asked Mom, how come she locked the doors? Mom told her not to worry about it. Later, Mary's sister, Lauren, knew why her mom locked the doors during the holidays only. Lauren sat Mary down and told her that when Mom was young, a girl named Carol went missing right around Christmas. Her family searched, and searched through the town, knocking on doors, asking people if they saw little Carol. Many of the town's people back then weren't as friendly as they are now, so many of them wouldn't answer the door. In order to get them to open the door, they would sing Christmas carols. The singing of the Christmas songs would encourage the town's people to open the doors. Unfortunately, little Carol was never found. Later that night, when the whole family went to bed, Mary laid awake thinking of little Carol. She wondered what happened to her. Mary got out of bed to go downstairs to get some water. When Mary went downstairs, she heard something near the front door. It was quiet and faint, so she got closer to the door. It was singing, very quiet singing. Mary slowly made her way to look out the window to see what was going on. Out the window, Mary noticed a little girl standing by the front door. Her head was down and her dirty brown hair was covering her face. She just stood there, gently singing. Mary wasn't sure what to do. Suddenly, the girl looked up at Mary, showing a pale, lifeless face. Mary jumped back and closed the blinds. Was this Carol? Mary slowly opened the blinds again. And the little girl was right next to the window. Her forehead was pressed up against the glass. The girl's eyes were so pale and lifeless. She whispered, "Mary, let me in." Mary asked the little girl how she knew her name. The girl just repeated, "Mary, let me in." Suddenly, dark and shadowy figures started to slowly walk up the front of the door, surrounding the little girl. They looked like people, but their heads were down, blocking their faces. They all began singing gentle, calm Christmas carols. The little girl kept asking Mary to open the door. Mary thought that if this is Carol, she could help her to get home to her parents. Mary closed the blinds and slowly made her way to the front door. The closer she got to the door, the louder the Christmas carol singing got. Mary slowly raised her hands to the door and touched the lock. The Christmas carols grew louder. "No!" Mary's mom shouted at the top of the stairs. She ran down and scooped Mary up in her arms. Mary was scared at what was going on. Mary's mom told her to never, ever unlock the door after it's been locked for the night, especially around the holidays. Mary went and looked back out the window. No one was there now. The girl and the Christmas carolers were gone. Mary asked her mom who that was and what was happening. Mary's mom scooped Mary up and put her back in bed. She explained to her that she will tell her the full story one day, but for now, to go back to sleep. Mary laid in bed awake, unable to sleep. She wondered who that little girl was and why she wasn't allowed to unlock the door. Mary got out of bed and looked out the window. The little girl from the window was walking down the street. She stopped and looked back at Mary, grinning a very eerie smile. She then walked onward and disappeared. To this day, Mary still doesn't know who that was. Many years ago, in the quiet town of Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, the Palumbo family was preparing for the holidays. It was Christmas Eve, and Parker, the youngest of the Palumbos, along with his family, Mom, Dad, and big sister Gabby, eagerly gathered around the fireplace watching Christmas movies. As tradition dictated, Parker's parents allowed the children to open one gift each before Christmas. Gabby unwrapped a shiny new cell phone, her eyes sparkling with delight. Parker, however, received an elf-on-the-shelf doll. He chuckled at the thought of the mischievous elf watching over him, but happily added it to his growing collection of toys. Later that night, after the family had nestled into their beds, Parker awoke to mysterious sounds echoing through the living room. Excitement bubbled within him. Perhaps Santa Claus had arrived. Curiosity led him to investigate the source of the nocturnal commotion. As Parker tiptoed into the living room, the darkness enveloped him, and an unsettling quiet settled over the house. His gaze fixed on the elf on the shelf, its eyes eerily tracking his every move. A sudden rush of wind sent the doll hurtling across the room, landing at his feet. As he picked it up, the once innocent eyes now gleamed a haunting black. Looking up, Parker discovered a looming, demonic shadow standing behind the Christmas tree. The malevolent figure locked eyes with him, uttering a chilling thank you before lunging forward. Parker gasped as the darkness consumed him. The next morning, the family awoke to the joyous celebration of Christmas. Parker's laughter echoed through the house, but little did they know that the true essence of Parker was no longer within his own body. Unbeknownst to them, the demonic entity had trapped Parker's spirit within the elf on the shelf. Silently observing the festivities with eyes that now harbored a sinister secret. In the heart of a quaint town cradled beneath a blanket of snow, young James was known for his mischievous spirit. Alongside his devoted mother, they wove the fabric of their lives within the walls of their snug home. As Christmas approached, adorning the town with twinkling lights and promises of presents, a chilling tale was poised to unfold, weaving shadows into the festive tapestry. James, a spirited troublemaker, reveled in the chaos of his youth. His mother, caught in the delicate balance of love and concern, decided it was time to share a tale of Christmas enchantment. With a mixture of excitement and worry, she spoke of Santa, the bearer of joy and gifts. However, a warning accompanied the tale: James' mischief might catch the eye of the benevolent gift giver, turning the holiday joy into a somber affair. Unperturbed, James dismissed the caution, viewing Santa as a mere figment of festive imagination. As Christmas Eve approached, James found himself alone in his room, reveling in the gleeful destruction of his toys. Laughter echoed through the silent house, his version of Jingle Bells, until an eerie melody permeated the air. A haunting tune, impossible to ignore, compelled James to investigate. Peering through the frosty window, he beheld a sight both surreal and unsettling. A man, clad in a tattered Santa suit, dragging a sack that dripped ominous red onto the pristine snow. Initial excitement twisted into spine-tingling shivers as James squinted, desperately hoping for the magical aura of Christmas. However, what unfolded before him was more nightmarish than enchanting. The Santa imposter shuffled toward James's window, knocking not with festive cheer but with an unsettling resonance that sent shudders down the boy's spine. Terrified, James scrambled into bed, convincing himself it was all a dream. But dreams, he soon realized, don't include the ominous sound of glass cracking or icy hands gently patting one's head. Santa spoke from the other side, his voice a strange concoction of candy canes and distant thunderstorms, sweet yet unnerving. As James cowered beneath his covers, a hand pressed against his head, stroking gently. Santa questioned James, asking, "Have you been a good boy this year?" The nightmare seemed endless, until James's mother burst into the room. She shouted at the Santa imposter, ordering him to stay away from her son. The man fled into the night, leaving behind his strange, dripping sack. When the police arrived, the sack unveiled horrors straight out of a horror movie, bloody rags and a sinister hammer. The town, once wrapped in the innocence of Christmas joy, was forever changed. The fake Santa vanished into the shadows, leaving behind a lingering unease. Every Christmas, as the lights danced in celebration, the townsfolk couldn't help but remember that eerie night. As for James, he abandoned his mischievous ways, haunted by the memory, but he never forgot the terrifying sight of the tattered red suit under the lamp post that Christmas. And to this day, he can still feel the cold, leathery hand against his head with the dark voice asking, "Have you been a good boy this year?"